Connor Johnson, and I am truly happy to be here today for two reasons. One, I get to introduce my brother, or my big brother, and also speak on behalf of my Connor family, and I know you guys are just loving that. But anyway, a few days ago, or a few weeks ago, I got a telephone call asking me if I would like to introduce my brother to the Harrison County Football Hall of Fame. And I thought for a minute, I said, oh my goodness, what can I say about my brother? I started writing out page after page after page to read tonight of all the things that I was going to say about my brother. And then I get another phone call that says, Carlotta, you have to be pretty brief. You cannot give a long, drawn-out story of your brother's 70 years of life. And I'm like, oh my goodness, so what do I say? I'm not going to be able to talk about his 1964 graduation from Harrison County High School. I'm not going to be able to talk about his service to the military in Korea and in Vietnam. I'm not going to be able to talk about his lovely wife, his 2 children, his 3 grandchildren. Not going to be able to talk about his 30 years of service at Wright State University in the School of Medicine there. All of these things, I said, what am I going to be able to say? And I said, you know, even his siblings, Brad, Joyce, and Maria, and of course myself, not going to be able to go into detail about that because I have to be brief. And so I thought about it and I said, well, I think I just told you guys about his life. I look back and I say, you know, I thank God for Arnetta and James Connor. Those were our parents. And they had 5 children. I once read a story that said, skipping over some things, but I read a story one time that said, God's greatest gift to a child are siblings. And when James and Arnetta Connor had 5 children, and William Russell Connor was the firstborn, God created some of his best works. We are here to honor our brother, William Russell Connor, who is better known as Tussle Connor, the OLC. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. In case you don't realize it, this gathering tonight is now the Connor family reunion. I must say this has been, the past month and a half has been real eventful for me. As my sister said, I turned 70 years old last month, and my family and a few friends, they came together and they gave me a surprise birthday party. Unique thing about that, first birthday party I've ever had in my life. And to go along with that, a few days later, I get a call from Jim. And I think he's calling to tell me, because every time I come to one of these things, I'll always give him names of individuals I think should be inducted, or at least considered for induction into the Hall of Fame. And I think that he's calling me to tell me maybe 1 or 2 of those people have been selected. And he says, well, yeah, but so have you. And, you know, I shocked first, and then I'm thinking, okay, I can accept this. And it was a pleasant surprise, I must say, and I'm truly honored to be a part of this. I started out playing organized sports at Cynthiana. My sophomore year at Cynthiana High School, I played mostly JV ball. And because of the size of the teams back then, because we did practice with the varsity, we got to dress with the varsity on most of the Friday nights. And so on occasion, we would get, you know, if the team was doing well, we would get in the games, fourth quarter cleanup type of things. And I usually got in playing defensive back. Well, back then, before I added a second person, I used to think that I was fairly fast. And so when we got this notification that the schools were going to merge, well, I'm thinking, okay, I'll come to Harrison County, show my speed, my hand coordination, everything. Maybe I'll get to play a little wide out. But as Mr. Smith was saying, I guess Coach McKee, you must have an issue with centers. Because we get to the first day of practice, we come out there and we're going around and meeting other guys that I didn't know from Harrison County. They didn't know me either. And we had 3 coaches back then. It was Coach Bess, Coach Wade, and of course head Coach McKee. And once they came out, well, we quieted down everything and we're standing around. And Coach Wade comes to the forefront and he says, "Connor, come over here, we're going to make you a center." And I'm looking around. It takes me a few seconds and I realize I'm the only Connor out here. Why? Why are they doing this to me? And I've never been considered a slow thinker, but I'm telling you, it took me many a day and a many a night for me to try to come up with what these coaches had seen me do that would make them think that I could possibly bend over and accurately throw a football between my legs. It just wasn't me. I thought I had the hands to catch the daggone thing rather than throw it, especially bending over. But I got through that season. My family will appreciate this. I actually started to pray because I needed some help, somebody to get me off of this ball. I got to get away from this thing. And prayer was answered. The following year, the return of Ori Levis. Ori was the center on Harrison County's first football team prior to the schools merging. Well, he had moved away. He came back our senior year, and of course, I was more than glad to let him have that spot back. I absolutely did not want to do that. They got no complaints from me whatsoever. But I guess the coaches were doing the good thing. They moved me to linebacker, and hitting was never an issue for me. And so the only thing I needed to learn was the nuances of the position, and hopefully I did it fairly well. I guess my first foray into playing the linebacker spot was our spring game. Back then, our base defense, we had 2 linebackers. A lot of you guys may remember Jerry Martin. Well, Jerry Martin and I were the 2 linebackers. For the spring game, they split us up, maroon and white. So one of us was on each team. I intercepted a pass in that game, and back in those speed days, I break up the sideline. Could not outrun Jerry's angle. Jerry laid one on me on that sideline. I rolled up, and I looked at him and gave him a pat on the back, and that made me say no to the speed thing, and no longer do I want the ball again. I didn't try to intercept anymore after that. But Coach Wade, he gave me a smile and a wink and a good approval nod, and that let me know that maybe I'll be able to do this. I think I can play this spot. And hopefully I made those guys proud when I did that, because, as the beginning of the season, well, the coaches, I think they showed a little trust in me because they gave me the responsibility for calling the defensive signals. And I tried to do that to whatever they were trying to or at least wanted me to do. And, we had some hard games back in those days. Teddy, I see you because you know who I'm going to bring up. If any of you have ever watched ESPN or any of the sports shows, and they will show highlights of Earl Campbell, there's a highlight that Earl Campbell has that he comes through the line, and I mean, he just obliterates the linebacker. Every time I see that play, my chest just hurts because we were playing at school out of, it's northern Kentucky, I don't know, it was Covington, Newport, somewhere in the north, and they had a player, Peter Rubin, remember? This guy, he had no neck. He just had this enormous head that sat between these 2 broad shoulders. And he was a running back, and he had 3 ways that he was going to run the football. His first way, he was going to try to fake you. Second way, he was going to try to outrun you. Third way, he was just going to run you over. So if they ran a sweep, I get outside and it's just he and I out there. He comes at me with the first move, trying to do the little shake move. I wasn't going for the shake. Then he tries to outrun me, and like I said, I didn't have this other person, so I could keep up with it. He couldn't outrun me. And then he went to phase 3. He put the crown of his helmet into my sternum and didn't score. Matter of fact, he didn't even get the first down. But just like the other guy was talking about, when his foot he tripped because his foot got caught in my face mask. Down he goes. I go to the sideline. Coach Best taps me on the shoulder, nice play. And I'm looking at Coach Best, I'm like, what game are you watching? What could possibly be nice about almost getting your face stepped on by a football team? Same game, later on, like I said, I'm calling defensive signals. Down and distance was perfect for me to call a blitz. I call it, our D-line just blows their offensive line wide open. So here I come, full tilt. And they didn't call them sacks back in their days, it was just a tackle for a loss. So the quarterback did not see me coming. I'm really coming down on him. I didn't see Peter Rubin. So within a split second, I go from almost having a tackle for a loss to looking up at my feet. Peter had really laid it on me, and as the defensive signal caller, from that play on for the rest of the year, the only thing I called whenever there was a blitz call sent in, or if I wanted to call one, I said, Jerry, you go, I'm dropping back into coverage. I do want to really thank Coach McKee, Coach Best, and Coach Wade, because for giving me the opportunity, first of all, and knowing that you guys didn't give up on me. There were, I know I got to be a handful a lot of times. There were situations back then, one of our responsibilities, if there was ever a penalty call, we were supposed to look to the sideline to see what the coaches wanted us to do. Well, me being defiant, I would turn my back to our sideline. And I did it so many times, the officials, they knew what I was doing because they were laughing as they were explaining the situation to me for me to make the decision. And hopefully I did everything that you guys wanted, because even though you gave me some choice words when I did get to the sideline, you never pulled me from a game and you never took that responsibility away from me. So I can only guess that I did make the right call during those times. My family, you guys know I love you. There's one person that is missing. And if he doesn't have that blanket over his head, I know he's looking down on us, and he's proud this night. My teammates, where would I be without you guys? Leroy, Teddy, man, trying to get off those blocks you were laying off in practices. Billy Hatfield, John Talbot, who's no longer with us. Big Ben Moore, trying to tackle you guys in practice. Man, if that didn't get you ready for Friday night, I don't know what would ever do it. Because I think these were some of the best guys the state of Kentucky had playing high school football. And I really appreciate that. And lastly, I'm going to thank the individuals responsible for nominating me for this. Again, it was unexpected, definitely appreciated. This is a special group, and I really thank you for making me a part of this group. You have really honored me and my family. Thank you very much. Go Thoroughbreds.